Hey TZP family, Avery here. Thanks for coming in for another video. I want to piggyback off of a recent conversation that happened during our last Saturday's class on March the 1st of 2025. One of our members asked about how to move forward with obtaining the proper identity using the title of nobility name to separate himself from the ens legis name, because we all come across the three-letter alphabet names, and it's attached to our ens legis name for a very long time, and it's very difficult to move forward. So he was asking if there was a process that we can do, and the answer is yes. Some of those processes can or cannot be done depending on your current situation. So to move forward with obtaining a United States of America passport for a person that does not have a birth certificate in the title of nobility name, nor do they have a state issued ID, there is a workaround around it. There is a workaround. Some of those things may be to include, do you have any witnesses in your family that can attest to you being born when you say that you were born at the time you said you were born on specific date that is possibly a little bit different than the ens legis birth date that's on an official birth certificate. And those people, they have to be blood relatives to you. Some of you may not have that right now. If that is the case, then there will need to be some sort of a POA to take place to make that type of testimony on your behalf. And so after you are able to obtain this unique passport, you still need to build it up. You need to build up this history or record of the title of nobility name, so that way you can still move forward in this commercial system that in the ways that you already know how. You understand it is necessary, unless if you don't have a boatload of cash to get through and do things normally, to take care of things self-pay medically with your dental, or handle things with your family, all with cash. If you can't do that, then you have no choice but to use credit. And so if you don't have that social security number or an I-10 number, or even a well-established business credit account to alleviate the cash that you have in your accounts, then you're going to be stuck, and this wouldn't be for you. So you need to move forward in building up your credit for business. So I want you to think of your title of nobility name as a merchant, because if you are a merchant, you are in power. You set the economy, you set the rules, you move money. That is what it means to be in control of currency. You move the flow of the current in the sea on the banks, right? That is what's at the edge of the water. It is a bank. So this is why we use these terms under maritime law. And so you have to build up your business credit. So what we're going to do today is show how to establish that specific number for your title of nobility name. I talked about there being a difference between an employer identification number and an employee identification number. Very different. One is making the moves as a merchant, and the other is subject to that employer. Okay. So what you want to do is you have an opportunity, you have an open window from Monday through Friday to go online via the IRS website and submit a specific application so that you can get an EIN as an employee, so that way you may receive this specific number to start building credit with. Once we get the number, I will show you the very first step on how to start the process and building up the credit. So that way you can get to tier one. I'm sorry, you go through tier one, tier two, three, and four. Once you're at four, you now no longer need the help of a guarantor. Okay. And I'm talking about net 30, net 60, net 90 accounts. You want to build that up. You want to put yourself in a position where you can go and get an auto loan. And from there, once you have the auto loan in that title of nobility name, which may be doing business as another business name, then you're ready to completely walk away from using guarantors attached to your accounts. All right, so let me share my screen here and we'll get into it. Okay, so you want to go to IRS EIN online. All right, when you do that, it will take you to this page here. You only can submit an application once per day per guarantor number. That means you will be required to give a social security number, or you will give an I-10. If you do not want to do that, then you would completely abandon the online process. You would move straight into the paper SS4 application. And on that application, you're not forced to give a social security number. If you don't do that, then it will take a little bit longer for them to process your application, but you can fax it in or you can mail it, and the end result will be the same. I do prefer the paper format because I can place the document or this entity directly under the Foreign Express Trust. It may take me a while for me to get the actual EIN in the mail, but at least I don't have to do the 8832 process. As in what I'm going to show you here, you have to apply online, you get the number instantly, and then you move forward with the 8832 process. And we all know how long that takes, especially when we're dealing with the estate number. But since we're not dealing with the estate number here, you may get your 8832 approved quickly. Okay, so that's why I'm going to show you this route. Now, when you see this route, you will know exactly how to answer the questions on the SS4 because it is the very exact same questions, just in electronic format. Okay, so let's begin. Now, we are talking about the title nobility name. You know mine, Avery Pharaoh. So whatever you have chosen yours to be, that is what you will use. But you must have someone who is going to be the guarantor for you. This could be your family. This could be a business partner. They have to surrender their social security number in order to complete this application. I'm going to use mine. Okay, I'm going to use mine, and I can only use it once per day when applying online. So let's say this is your situation. You don't want to include anybody else. You're just going to use yourself. Okay, perfectly fine. If you have a foreign trustee, you can use them, but it has to be done on paper, or you can call and apply online. But doing the paper format is by SS4, and where it asks them for the EIN number or the I-10 number, you just write the word foreign, and that's it. But let's talk about those who want to get the number online and get it fast. So let's begin the application. I hope you all know what type of legal structure we are putting together since we are talking about titles of nobility. None of these here on the forefront is what you would select. These are not your options. So to see other options, you must click View Additional Types, Continue, And you have a list of options. You have church controlled organization, that is specifically a 501c3. Church is a 508c1a. There's still some holding there by the secretaries of states. So I remember a gentleman asked if we should choose a 501c3 or 508c1a to operate tax exempt. I would choose neither. I would choose neither of those. I would only work with tax exempt organizations. And what that is not on this list here. They don't want to tell you what that is specifically. That's why they put it in the last category here as other nonprofit or other tax exempt organization. So that's what you're going to select. Hit continue. You must confirm your selection. Hit continue. Why is the nonprofit or tax exempt organization requesting this EIN? There's many reasons. I could have purchased this from somebody else. I purchased their business. I'm changing the type of organization from 501c3 to a 501(a) or to something else, whatever the case may be. But since we are starting this from scratch, you will select starting new business or for banking purposes. And I want you to select for banking purposes. That's very important. I'm going to explain why. For this particular reason, to answer the gentleman's question of moving forward in commerce under a new identity, his goal is to obtain a new passport without using the former person's information. So when he fills out that application, it is going to be on the Office of Management and Budget documents. Those are instruments, and those will be processed by the United States Department of Treasury, which is a bank. So this will be for banking purposes. Certain EINs are codified a certain way for specific reasons. If we had selected starting a new business, the prefixes and suffixes of the EIN number would be different. Okay, so since we know we're going to translate this information over to a financial instrument, which is the passport application, we want to select for banking purposes. Now, tell us about the responsible party. I said I'm going to give myself. You would use yourself or whoever you're going to use that can give you their social security number or their I-10. An I-10 is a number given to someone who is in the process of becoming naturalized. Okay. And you will select that you are a responsible and duly authorized member or officer having knowledge of this organization's affairs. You would click that and hit continue. If you select a third party applying for an EIN on behalf of this organization, then the EIN that they give you, whatever they assign, is not going to be immediately downloadable. It will come through the mail. So if you're doing this online, you want to have it instantly. So do not select the second option. Continue. Where is the nonprofit or tax-exempt organization physically located? So this is where you want to enter the names of the business and the principal address, as well as the mailing address. So when making a new identity, you do not want to give any information that's pertaining to the former credit profile. You are creating a new credit profile. So I have another actual address to use, And I will be using my mailing address as well. The mailing address that you are all familiar with, those that have purchased foreign trustees or other services. So we would enter the physical residence. Here's a little hint. If you don't have another physical address to give, and you don't want to give where you actually sleep, which is a good idea, there are several houses on the market. Pick one. Pick one in the same county, in the same state, where your mailing address, your postal address, your private box is located. Pick one. Does it matter? No. You're not having mail go there. Your credit applications will never be sent there. Don't worry about it. It needs to be an actual place that's qualified under the name residence. So we got good old Beverly Hills where I was born. Good. Now, phone number. Give the phone number that you're going to put on your credit application. So it needs to be a number that you have not connected with the other credit profile for the Ins Ligas. If you don't have another number, go to Google and get a Google number, or go to Walmart and buy a flip phone, something quick. Just get something. Now, should the mail be directed to a specific person or department within your organization, this is commonly referred to as the care of name. If yes, please enter the name. If you have that, then that's fine. I'm going to put Avery Favor. Have enough room, so I will abbreviate just like that. Now, here is the postal address. This is where you put the different address. You hit yes. And the other mailing address. Continue. Now, tell us about the non-tax or the tax-exempt organization. The trade name may not contain an ending such as LLC, LC, PLLC, or PA, Corp, or Incorporated. And that's fine, because we do not want to be classified as a subsidiary or franchisee under the Secretary of State. And we all know that that term is a corporation sole. If you are using any of these business types, you are underneath the corporation sole, which is the Secretary of State's connected to the Archbishop and the diocesan bishop, which connects you to the crown. And therefore they have title over your business and your name and all of that. So we are not dealing with those entities. We are dealing with unincorporated associations. That's what your title of nobility is, an unincorporated association. So you need to find which states allow you to record an unincorporated association. And once you find that state, you do it with the Secretary of State. That doesn't mean that you're bringing that business under the state's jurisdiction, because when you do that, for example, California, they never ever require you to renew any fees. There is no additional $800 a year, regardless if you make $1 or not with unincorporated associations in California. And then you will go to California and open up a bank account there. You or one of your authorized persons that you've listed in the articles to open up a bank account. Now, you would choose a bank account that, of course, allows you to have access to the funds at any bank in any other states. but you would take a trip and go to California and do it if you're not already in California. Okay. Now, let's list the name. What is the legal name? It is Avery Farrell. Now, is it doing business as another entity? Yes, it is. For this example, let's say it's called Kundalini Energy unincorporated association. Now, it's not going to fit all that, right? So if you can't fit it all, then we'll leave this out. There is another section we could put it in. So let's say we are starting this at the time of our birth for this nobility name. If you've already done your birth announcement in the newspaper, I've talked about how to select your birthday and using not the calendar that we use today. There is a different calendar that you must use. So we will assess that in another video if you have missed that information. We're not going to talk about it here. But my birth, you've all seen from my birth certificate, is November the 8th, 1987. Gregorian calendar. But if you go off of the Julian calendar, and the calendar is still in operation, that means my birth would be December 16, 1988. So I will start this then. Okay, hit continue. So it's too big. Let's see, year cannot be more than 1 year in the future or more than 25 years in the past. So it's your choice. It really doesn't matter. You can follow that example they've given you. You can go 25 years back from today, which would be 2020. So let's be safe here and go 2021. All right. Now, does your business own a highway motor vehicle that is over 55,000 pounds? We say no, we're not into gambling. No Indian reservations. We're not filing Form 720 every quarter. That will get you into a lot of trouble. We do not sell tobacco or firearms, which is the only general sales tax constitutionally, but we hit no. And do we have or do we expect to have any employees? The answer is yes. Now, here's an interesting point. If you have Avery Farrell as the business name, guess who's going to be its employee? The ens legis. And they're serving as that right now by offering their social to get this EIN number. So Avery Cottrell is the first employee, and it is controlled by Avery Duvall Cottrell, Avery Duvall family of Cottrell estate. Now this brings you into, okay, now we can see how to use this 1041 form when it's time to do our taxes. The 1041 will be produced saying Avery Duvall family of Cottrell estate, and right below it, its business name, its partner, Avery Duvall Cottrell. And that merges in with Form 1065 A1, and that's where we list our partners. Who's the partner and who's the partnership. Now we've connected it. And that's why they didn't want to give you those forms that said your estate is tax exempt, because they know you can include that with your 1041 when you file your taxes if you are an employee working for somebody and have a W-2. But if you fix it right here from the beginning, you click yes right here, now you're setting yourself up to win. Let's continue. Describe your employees. What is the first date wages or annuities were or will be bid or paid? Okay, so if the business started 2021, you want to start there as well. December 2021. If applicant is a withholding agent, enter the date income will first be paid to a non-resident alien. What is the highest number of employees expected in the next 12 months? Let's leave everything at 0. Need that. Do you expect your employment tax liability to be 1,000 or less in a full calendar year? Yes. By selecting yes, you are electing to file an annual employment tax return, Form 944. If you prefer to file a quarterly return, Form 941, select no. All right, so it's 1,000 or less. The reason why you will not have to do this form is because when you get this EIN number, you're going to go directly into filling out 8832, and that will exempt you from having to do this. Continue. Oh, we need at least one employee. Okay, so you put 1 there. Continue. What does your business or organization do? Now, they will never ever give you what the proper unincorporated association can do, which can be anything. It can be an unincorporated association can do all of these things here. It can do construction, finance, consulting, real estate, retail. It can do all of that. Hit other. And to be honest with you, a lot of your shopping plazas, a lot of your businesses that you see all over the United States, the chains, you'll see it says, let's say, for example, Home Depot Incorporated. And you look it up and it says, okay, it's incorporated and it's registered in all of the states with every single Secretary of State. But that's just on the surface. They're really unincorporated associations avoiding taxes, avoiding all types of losses. And they're doing that because they know the general public will look at these things and say, oh, okay, I want to be as successful as Home Depot. Let me create a corporation too. But they don't know the other layer behind it to make them fully exempt without going religious. This is the part that you do here. It continues. You have chosen other. Please choose one of the following that best describes your primary business activity. Again, they don't have it here, so you select other, and you would type in unincorporated association. Receive letter online. Continue. So now we confirm everything. Avery Pharaoh is the name of the business. The doing business as Kundalini Energy. So that means go ahead at column.us and get your updated trustee minutes and put that DBA into the newspaper. Have it circulated in Los Angeles County. Find a reputable publishing company that will do it for you, or whatever county you've given. We have our physical address here. We have our business number. Mail is going to be addressed to Avery Pharaoh in Florida. We've given ourselves as the responsible party. Again, if you don't want to give yourself and you want to use your foreign trustee, you must use the SS4 paper route. And you don't give this information here. You will give the word foreign. It's going to take a while to get it, but eventually you'll get it. Employee information. As of December 2021, you're not in the field of agriculture. You have one employee, which is yourself. You have no tax liability, so you hit yes. You will file Form 8832 right after getting this number. Your principal business activity is unincorporated associations. This was for banking purposes. No 720 forms, no gambling, no alcohol, no motor vehicles over 55,000 pounds. You hit submit. And now you have 33 dash and so on and so on. Immediately save this. Okay. Now that we have that, let's move forward and assume we've done the DBA in the newspaper already. And let's assume we've already sent out our 8832 form. Now we move forward to the first step in building credit. You now need to establish a credit profile. Okay, you need to establish a credit profile with the business credit bureaus. So it's good to start investing in building up this business credit profile. You don't necessarily want to obtain any regular business credit application. You don't want to do that. The top 3 business credit bureaus that you're going to focus on is Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. Those are the top 3 that anyone who's offering you business credit are going to look at those reports to determine if they can give you credit. So, like when I obtained the Porsche, they ran the business credit on the LLC's EIN information. They ran it through those 3 and noticed that, okay, there is a presence, but it's not as strong of a number that they're looking for to give me the credit or financing for the Porsche without my additional personal guarantee, which was my social. So you want to build it up. Okay. Now, the best way to build it up is to give your social in some cases, or you would have a proxy. This is somebody that you trust to be a part of your business. You bring them in and you say, hey, I need you to go apply for this loan for the business. And you know what? It's not uncommon. In order for someone to be okay with doing that, there has to be a pre-arrangement, an agreement as to what are the fail-safes. What's the fail-safe if something were to happen and you didn't make that payment? Well, obviously the best case for that is a bond. You would have a bond on they would have a bond on your company. If you were to fail in making these payments, they can file a claim. The insurance company pays them their damages, which is pretty much the entire cost of the car or whatever the credit card charges are. The bond will be enough to cover it, and the business is stuck with the bill to pay the insurance company back. You can do it that way, or you can secure their arrangement by giving them a life insurance policy. I talk about this all the time. A corporate-owned life insurance policy, COLI, otherwise known as a key man executive. And so with that situation, you're guaranteeing that for X amount of years that they are part of your business, you will give them a certain retirement out of the death benefit portion over to their families. And you will also give them a certain salary while they are still here working for you. That's how Steve Jobs does it. That's what he did for Apple. That's what all the top CEOs do in order to secure that position as a CEO for the company. They use their social as the insurer to give the company more profits by several life insurance policies. So that is a way where you can establish business credit without having to give your own social security number. You get a personal representative. So I'm going to show you some sources of where you can go to start building up business credit right now. And everybody is talking about business credit with social media. The proper term to search is commercial fleet or commercial credit applications, not business credit, because then you got to sift through a lot of information to find what's good. So I'll share my screen once again. And let's say, for example, we wanted to do this business card with American Express. They are most likely going to ask you for the business EIN number and a guarantor. So you can either let that be yourself, but I highly recommend no, you necessarily don't have to be yourself. You kind of want to separate the information that you've put in with your ens legis person. So get a proxy, get an authorized person who can do that for you. And there's other credit cards like that, Capital One and Discover. There's so many others out there. But in talking about commercial credit applications, here is one that you can use. Remember, we're just building up a profile first. We're not looking to get approved, okay? This is what you call tri-merging. This is what you call sending information to suppliers, or they're called furnishers of information, and they are going to give it over to the credit bureaus. That way you have a history, okay? So National Whole Supply is an application you can fill out by paper and mail it in. It will have the necessary information that you need. So it's going to be the company name, which is your title nobility name, the new EIN number that you just had, the type of business. Obviously, here you see it says proprietorship, partnership, corporation, LLC, or government agency. None of that applies as unincorporated association. So you have to select something, right? And you're just going to hit the first one, sole proprietorship first. Fill out as much information as you can, and just follow the application's rules and regulations and what they require. Send it in. You at least get the, you'll notice how there isn't really a need for Social Security information. They ask for it here, but you don't have to give it. All right, you have more freedom here. And it's just a one-page application. Send it in. They will report this information as accepted or denied to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. And there's your first one, which is good. Okay, so let me back up and recap a little bit. After obtaining your EIN number, you will then do an 8832 form, sending that into the IRS to place this unincorporated association under the jurisdiction of the Foreign Express Trust. Then you are going to go to Dun & Bradstreet and create a profile. Get a Dun & Bradstreet number. Okay, you have that. Then you are going to start applying. So this is the first one that you can use. All you do is Google commercial credit application, and you'll see, at least for the first 5-7 pages, there are PDF links, and you can start applying anywhere. Just get the information into the system. Okay? Get your title nobility name out there. Another one you can use is Ally Commercial Services. Here is another PDF application. You fill it out, give the EIN number, and you would email it, fax it, or mail it. Okay. Another one is Chevron with Techron. They've merged with WEX, and you want to apply for the business access card. This is a charge card. So whatever you charge, you got to pay in full once you use it. There is no monthly payments to that. Let's click apply. Let's see how that works. So if we were to put in our Nobility name, let's go with the email address, whatever that may be. Okay. Legal business name. Same thing, your title and nobility. And the DBA. What do we list on our application? Kundalini Energy, unincorporated. Association, so I can't fit it, so that's fine, just leave it there. Business number, again, the same thing. Number of vehicles, this is a charge card, so let's say we have 4. Hit continue. And you will notice they will send that business number a code. So we must put in that code here. Hit continue. And it's going to ask for the business EIN number. Okay. So we have business details. Start off with the code. So let's say we're talking about accounting, tax preparation, business structure is going to be the last one, unincorporated association. Year established, we had 2021. Hit continue. There you have it. Tax ID number only, gross revenue, your monthly field and service expenses. And it says this business is exempt from motor fuel taxes. I would say yes. Hit continue and you would finish the other 3 pages. Very simple to do. Just going to ask you for addresses and financial information. Okay. Another good one to use is the commercial credit application with Ford. Not a big fan of Ford cars, but it's good to have that on your application, on your history. It's going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes, they say. What you need is the email address, the tax ID number, the business gross profit, and it says if you have a guarantor, you're going to need their SSN, date of birth, and their employment status or monthly income. Okay? So if you do this application, of course, your business gross profit, it needs to be justified for them to determine if the guarantor is needed or not, or if your history is already over 5 years. So most likely you will have to provide a social security number to finish up this application. It's not mail in, so that's one of the drawbacks to doing applications online. You have to give the information that they think they need. So I prefer paper applications, but that's one that you can use. Another one, for example, here is, this is a credit application by whom? Who is this with? Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler. Okay. What's cool is you start off the application with basic information and you select this. Is this going to be business or individual? Select business and you'll see the very same applications that you already see. Okay. So that's really the process that you need to do for right now. That's how you start it. You want to build it up to get to tier 4. After you've done this, go and open up accounts. Let's just do a general search here. Live, net 30 business accounts. It's not working, so let's go to this one. Down. Okay, here are a few that you can go to. Uline, They report to Dun & Bradstreet. That's usually an office packaging supplier. That's good. Quill is another one. Staples Business Advantage, Crown Office, Granger, New Egg, HD Supply, Amazon Business, pay by invoice only. And that should be enough for you to get started. Once you have at least 5 or 3 net 30 accounts, plus the commercial credit applications, you're going to be solid. And from there, your next goal is to establish a business credit card. You need at least one business credit card in addition to these net 30s, and in addition to at least one of those commercial credit acceptances. Once you have that, you're on your way to being able to use your title nobility name to obtain credit. So now you'll be able to get your passport in the nobility name and also live off of it without using the social security number. And you get a lot more when it comes to business credit. It is sky's the limit on how much. All right. So with that being said, I will stop it here. I hope that was beneficial to you. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner. I'll see you in the next one.